You're in Vienna. It's the city of
Psychedelics.
Sigmund Freud.
Oh, right, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's not the city of Hoffman, who the chemist from Switzerland who made
Switzerland
LSD.
is close, but
Yeah,
yeah,
and who stopped doing LSD at age 98. He looked like 103. He said at that point, he goes, he's seen everything already.
but he could have managed to do 2 more years.
I mean, maybe. But Sigmund Freud, well, I don't necessarily associate psychedelic with Sigmund Freud, but
Maybe
I guess
Carl Jung.
Yeah, more young, more young.
I mean,
for sure.
but I guess he is psychedelic. I mean, he's a pretty psychedelic dude now. I think about it.
He definitely was.
His look, the whole thing.
He took coke all the time.
Well, you know, sometimes
He actually changed a lot of, before it was like very patriarchal thing, and he was like, hey, this could be...
No, everybody has mother issues.
no. You know, now you know who
And
was.
father issues.
You know who was psychedelic? And I think he's from Vienna too. He's definitely from Austria. Wilhelm Reich.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's psychedelic for sure.
In a hardcore way. I mean,
Yeah. Well, that's
sure.
okay. I mean, the Norwegian government burned down his library. I mean, how outrageous can you be? I mean,
Well, there had to be a reason.
well, come on. But was Wilhelm Reich from Vienna?
No.
He's Austrian.
No, but he is, you're right.
I think he is.
Really?
But Viennese people don't like
No,
to talk about it.
because
Yeah,
he and Freud were rivals.
Definitely, yeah.
Wilhelm Reich.
I mean,
ended up in
how
Vermont.
I got this stupid idea with the Sigmund Freud is because of the imaginary enemy.
Well, he came up with the title, and I think it was just a little play on.
I think it's the other imaginary friend. I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
Yeah, but it was
really
also
like
it was also it sprung to mind from the actual image that Albert Olin gave us because it looked like
That's the cover.
a
They-
weird.
yeah.
It could be a weird imaginary friend, but clearly not a friend.
Yeah.
It was clearly.
But I really liked it. When I read it, it really
It clicked with you.
took my-
Cool.
And actually, I just put it on the cover as a test title,
But it's
And it fit
as a
and it was good.
placeholder, and then everyone's like, "Oh, we like it." So
It's really cool when a placeholder
But it's all-
actually
it's-
gets the real thing.
yeah.
it can be interpreted in many ways too. I mean, of all these fake enemies of the world. All
Yeah,
these,
the
all
wars
these
and
justified
this and
wars
that,
are based
yeah.
on nothing. So it's got a little edge to it.
Yeah.
You're totally right.
Multifaceted.
Yeah.
You're on tour with the new album.
Yes.
The new album, I mean, I take now another question from actually one.
Sure.
But it took you, the first time in the career of the band, or in the career in the history of the band, it took 5 years almost to do a new album.
Sure.
Which is the longest break.
Yeah. Well, we were.
There's no breaks.
We're,
Is
we're
the
not,
sad part.
yeah,
So-
we're not the most prolific band for
Yeah,
sure.
it's,
But we.
what happened the last, why?
I mean, I have an answer. Two dads over here raising a family. It takes a lot of time.
We all
That's the
play
point.
multiple bands.
I mean, the first 5-year ones, we lost our old keyboard player,
and I had to learn to play
spent-
keyboard to fucking join this band.
But it took us over a year to find Eric.
Yes. And we had we had a fit, and we had a fit, and then of course that the creative process,
The writing
writing,
process,
you write
yeah.
together.
The writing is brutal.
We had
It
to
takes
find
forever.
it. Takes a long time. I'm touring all the time. I'm gone all the time. So it's just two people raising a family.
But that's
I mean, it's, and then
living in New York.
New York
just
City
living
is
in
harder
New
than
York,
ever.
It takes
But-
forever.
But we've been active, consistent. I mean,
Yeah,
for,
I mean we're constantly playing.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
done
Playing
we've
to
done
meet
two
these,
US we've done 2 US tours.
We've toured
played in
South America twice.
Wow.
So we're and we were working out the new songs a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's a slow process. It's not a notated music. It's oral tradition. So it's complicated music from the oral tradition. It takes
Mental and
like
muscle memory.
It's like a new machine, just kind of slowly working its way up.
everyone writes their own parts, and everyone has veto power, and it can.
And we
take forever.
literally don't write unless we're all three in the room together.
We actually don't always write our own parts. Like someone will suggest something to one of us, and we'll experiment with it.
You do write on your own and then experiment, or
No,
you write together?
we're in the same room.
Because this would be another question, because there's so many. I always love to hear how an album got produced.
Right.
Like sometimes one person doing all the songs, then
Right.
you rehearse them, you go to the studio.
That would be
record them.
easier. We would
Sometimes
have more
people meet in the
records.
studio
Yes.
and write the songs and play them like
Well,
in the
yeah,
studio.
we have a rehearsal studio.
How
to do
did
that.
the last album happen? I mean, you already said, but I want to hear it again. How was the producing process of the new album?
I mean, when we're all in town together, we get together twice a week, and
if we don't have a show, we're writing. If we're not rehearsing for a show, we're writing.
Okay, cool.
And it always starts with one germ of an idea from any one of us, and then it's a long process of extrapolation.
Well, sometimes
and
it actually
more parts and
two people will rehearse sometimes, come up with an idea. The third will come because they couldn't do it, and then come up with an idea on top of it, or it'll inspire a new idea from the new person, and we throw away the old stuff. So
And just use it as a like.
It'll become unrecognizable from the original seed.
our garbage bag of
Yeah.
non-used parts is
we should sell them like
pretty
Metallica.
large, yeah.
Sell all our old unused parts like Metallica.
Or use them for the next album.
Okay, so instead of like rehearsing after touring or playing, you meet, you write the songs.
Yeah.
But then you go to the studio. Or
Yeah.
you're recording by yourself. No, you had a producer.
no. We went to well, we didn't have a producer, but we found
Because,
have an
because
engineer.
rehearsing and doing songs in the practice room or in the rehearsal
Okay.
room and recording them is like completely two
Sure.
different things.
But we also play locally.
We play 'em
Yeah, we
live
work
all
them
the time,
out
too,
live, and we see what works and what doesn't live.
So you play them live before?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when a song is finished for us, we start playing it live, and then if things aren't working, then we go back and we change things. You know.
So there's not a producer who says, "Oh, we
No,
need this
no,
part
no,
here."
Yeah, it's all of us.
We kind of wished we'd have a high power producer that passionate about our music. It's not
Did you ever
happening.
have? Did you ever have a producer?
No.
No.
A lot of musicians consider New York City a laboratory to work out your art. So we have our friends, our fans, the other bands that we play shows with, and you kind of see what works, what doesn't work.
And let's stick to the new album, of course. Is there a red thread, like a leitmotif, like a central
Throughout
theme?
all of it,
Um,
did you hear the whole album?
of course not.
All right.
No, of course not. But I heard a couple of songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get any deeper. I have no clue what the songs are about. So how do you come up with the lyrics?
It's a improvised kind of phonetic vocalization,
Sounds.
and then we go back and write the lyrics of what it sounds like afterwards.
I'm
serious.
Many people do that.
Do they?
I definitely. Yeah.
Some people do that,
You
but-
sing something phonetic that sounds cool.
Yeah.
And then you build a lyrics around it. That
Yeah.
is like, oh, this
Well,
is-
we'll even go back after it's recorded and listen to what it sounds like and write the
Just write the lyrics afterwards.
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
It makes it even easier.
Yeah. Well,
God.
easier or not.
So in a sense, there are no lyrics.
But actually, on this,
But-
on this album, it was a little different. It was one more step. We, because we actually did some additional vocals at my friend Nondor's house. We did that. We did the phonetic thing, then wrote the lyrics afterwards, and then I went back and recorded what I had written. So it's like flipped over many times, and then kind of made it ambiguous and made it a little obscure, made the whole thing a little more obscure by is that the word I'm looking about? Anyhow,
Yes.
with other vocalization, we treat the vocals more as a kind of primal human expression sounds than we do like we're not a lyricist band. I mean, there's just not. It's not
There's no message in the lyrics.
Yeah, exactly.
Poetic.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
if you write
no,
down the lyrics,
not at
people
all.
are like, wow.
No,
The
no.
message is in the song titles.
Cool, yeah, that's the point. And in this, and in the music. So,
In the music, yeah.
when I listen to your sound, it's like really eclectic. It's like what we call in German the reference hell. Where does your influence come from?
Non-idiomatic. And
Non-idiomatic.
We don't, when you hear all those influences, they're not direct reference quotes. It's not like, oh, here's I don't know what, here's a country beat, and now here's the rap section, some crap like that. But we're all in the
We try to avoid genres, clearly, and yet we all bring our own influences into it in a kind of organic way that doesn't represent those genres.
It does sound organic. It's not that you can say, clearly here comes the hip hop part or whatever, the rap part. It's really woven together.
If
If anything sounds too much like the hip hop part or the
skip
rap
it.
part,
You
it's gone.
Yeah. But
you're aware,
But
of course, about
we're
all this
aware,
stuff.
but one, not that it was even that self-conscious, but one reason why we happened is because we found a timbral, we found a voice, and I'm kind of proud of that. It's hard to have a voice in the arts. It's usually you're within the infrastructure or the template that someone else came with, and it's cool.
And you're
to have a
doing
voice.
minor variations on something else that was popular, thinking that, if I do it this way, maybe we can be popular
Yeah,
too.
everything's just a nod to something else.
Yeah.
Like,
And for me, at least artistically, I'm less interested. I'm more into danger and art, risk, where you can fall on your face. I find it it's kind of easy. If someone came up with a template, anyone could work every permutation and refine it. And some people do that, and they do it really well. But that's not what I'm really here to, what I want to do, at least. I would rather come up with our own shit.
I got a couple of more questions. And let's because you started something to say before about the world today. On your tour, you meet people. You maybe have a beer after the gig or whatever, or a mate.
Well, I'll drink, but right now we have 27 shows. We're at 5 left, so I'm a little tired right now.
Do you think? I mean, I know this is like it's a bit of a stupid question, but you're around quite a while.
Yeah,
like 15 years. It's
right,
like 15 years, kind of exactly 15 years. Did the world? Is there? I mean, did something change
in the world in the last 15 years?
Oh hell yeah!
I mean, yeah. We're in
extremely.
The tsunami of the tech revolution is change. It's already here, and people don't know how to handle it. So they're fucking freaking out.
Can you tell me an example? Like,
Well, less jobs. People who can't see themselves in this future planet. They can't recognize how they're going to exist, and so they turn to stupid things like nationalism and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty clear.
I think in a lot of ways, I mean, even though we were heading in this direction 15 years ago, the world today feels unrecognizable from what it was back then in terms of just the chaos and the balance and how many things, like what is the thing that's going to set it off? And I could just be being paranoid, which admittedly I am, but I have a 6-year-old now and it's a lot scarier than it used to be.
I used to say that I'm totally not paranoid, and I guess we're almost the same age, or maybe you're even younger. I'm 48, whatever. But the last years are the first time in my life that I think, okay, wow, I never experienced something like that because it like really fucks up big time.
World War III. World War III is inevitable.
It feels like it.
Civilization is moving backwards.
Wow, but that's like really...
Backwards.
Well, no, there's a new thing, which
emotionally
is the digital... Well, yeah, sure, because it's a digital world. So there's all these primal pheromonal things that happen when you're in a room physically with someone. People are just isolated on their screens, and this is kind of an experiment of how humans interact. I mean, it's...
Well, also, I mean, the way that, like, at least our government and obviously Trump, I think, can get away with what he's getting away with is that it's so easy to sit on your phone and press like to all the negative articles about him, and he's going to get impeached, but no one is taking it to the streets anymore because this is our way of rebelling.
Well, it's not the only reason. It's because our police going back to it's
more
militarized than ever.
And there's a lot of reasons.
Yeah, but it's intimidating.
It's
I mean, in the United States, you have filmed police murders. Everyone on the planet sees it, and they
say allegedly. They say the cops allegedly
they get away.
Shot.
So
nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
Yeah, of course.
They get away with it after everyone sees it. It's
absurd.
It's a bit like this in Austria too. I mean, as you
well, there's stuff in the news we see sometimes. Yeah.
Of course, maybe it's like a couple of percent more, looking more nicely, but it's not. Of course, but it's the same direction, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right. I mean, but here's my positive side.
Yeah.
There's a tremendous opportunity here. I mean, how low can we go? And the what I'm hoping society won't do is panic and make another bad decision just because they're so upset about what's currently happening. It's like, okay, chill out. The good days don't last forever, but the bad days don't last forever either. Yeah. So let's see if we can make something out of this.
Yeah, and if our country's lucky, we elect a progressive that drastically. I mean, we have to change so many things. I mean, capitalism, the environment. It's like
same in Europe.
It's insane.
The whole world. It's the tech revolution. People don't know what to do.
Destroying the world.
Yeah.
It's destroying the world.
Well, it's changing it, and so are we going to be responsible for the change? So far, it looks like no. The billionaires aren't going to hand it over. They never do, and they usually go down with a fight, and those are usually catastrophic wars historically. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, I also see it like it's maybe a pendulum that goes now in this direction. We can all learn a lot from it.
I hope it goes in the other direction before it goes off the cliff.
If there's something good about it, it's like watch it closely, see that you don't make the same mistake.
It's swinging wildly one way, and it's going to take a while to come back.
Well,
Exactly.
Totally.
For the next 20 fucking years.
Well, the first step is the baby boomers all have to die.
Yeah.
The worst generation in history. I mean, in the United States, they always talk about the greatest generation. These World War II.
Well, that's because they're writing the books.
The baby boomers. Not only were they given everything, at least in the States, they took it all and they wanted more, and they gutted it, and they still want more.
Yeah.
So you have our presidents are GW, Trump, and Clinton, and they're all terrible people. Like really bad people.
I think you have to be bad to be in this position. That's the thing. If you want to come to this position, you kind of have to make so much compromising.
Well, you have to make the hard decisions.
Otherwise,
Is the thing. You have to make the hard decisions.